through the majority of the season here, you're through 14 starts now. You've been the most consistent performer on the mound for Lakewood, and clearly getting some credit for that as you've been named a South Atlantic League All-Star. And just what do you attribute mainly to the success in being so consistent this year?
I mean, everything, just consistently working hard in the offseason, just kind of knowing myself, not trying to overthrow anymore, just kind of growing up overall, knowing like who I am, what I can do. Yeah, just working hard, trying to getting all my work in, just repeating delivery, consistency, just trying to get everything down more and more.
And I know in 2009 you were drafted 33rd round out of high school. I want to get your thoughts on what was that experience like? You know, were you tracking it? How'd you find out? How'd you celebrate?
I mean, I went down for a couple games against American teams and a couple like rookie teams, like GCL and stuff. Just try to get noticed. But I wasn't really particularly following it. I mean, I had a scholarship lined up for Iowa Western. I was probably just going to go there. I didn't like expect anything. I wasn't trying to look for like, hey, like this is my year to get drafted. This is a for sure thing. It was just kind of like a long shot. And then I was actually in the middle of class, and my dad ended up sending me a text message, and he's like, hey, can I call you real quick? And so I ended up talking to him. He's like, yeah, like you got drafted. So ended up leaving class and went and celebrated for that. But yeah, it was definitely a huge shock, and through it all, I mean, there was no shot. Like after hearing that, I was going to. I mean, I would have signed for a plane ticket. I mean, at that shot. Were the Phillies a surprise to hear from? Were they a team that you knew was scouting you? Yes and no. I mean, I had a couple guys come up, look at me. I had Tim Kistner, who's no longer with us. He's with the Cubs now, I think. He looked at me, talked to him a little bit, and then Marty Woolivar came and watched one of my games, which was one of my better outings in high school. So he came and saw me, and then a bunch of other teams were, but it wasn't a for sure thing. I thought, because I went down for a pre-draft workout with the Mariners, so I was a little more leaning toward the Mariners if I was going to get drafted. So, I mean, it was a little bit surprised, but at the same time, I had kind of a feeling because I was more in contact with them than anyone else. So.
And you mentioned coming down to America. You know, folks that may not know, you're a British Columbia native guy. With that in mind, I wanted to ask you. You know, I ask certain guys when I talk to guys that are Canadian, like you know, Philippe Amont and stuff like that. I'll ask them, do you remember your first exposure to baseball? Because obviously, maybe Canadian kids are geared more toward another sport. You know, so do you remember your first exposure to baseball and what really made that appealing for you?
I mean, I played since I was 4 years old. I mean, I've played in every sport. But as I kind of got older, I saw, I mean, Gillies. I grew up watching him because he played with my older brother, so I know Gillies really, really well. And a couple of other guys that came out of my town that like they would go down to the coast to try to get noticed. And as I got older, I chose between hockey and baseball, and I ended up started throwing a lot harder than I was doing anything for hockey. So I wanted to try to be like them and go down, see if I can make a team down there, and then hopefully get noticed. And I was trying to get an education out of that by using it as a bridge to go down the States and kind of carry on from that.
And you mentioned your throwing there, saw on the gun out there. Mainly low 90s, saw 91, 92, may have seen a 94 mixed in there. What's the full repertoire, and what do you consider your strengths there?
I mean, for the last couple of years, I mean this year and last year, for the most part, I've been 91, 94. Last year there was a few games where I ran it up 96, 97, but I haven't seen that this year. I mean, there was one time where I had a 93, 95 game. But I mean, I'm not trying to overthrow the ball, just trying to hit my spots, get ahead in the counts. My slider is a huge thing I changed. I used to throw a curveball, but I slowed my arm down a lot because I was trying to think I had to make a break. So they just told me to grip it differently, like a slider, like hold it like that, and just throw it like a fastball. So I've gone to that now. So now I have a working slider for me. That's probably 85, 86 miles an hour. So that's been working for me really well. And then my changeup's come a long way too. That was definitely one of my weaker points, and I took a lot of time working on that too.
So the curve's definitely fully out? Yeah,
curve's gone for the most part. I've kind of gone back and forth thinking about bringing it back in, but I mean, I'm not too sure right now. Basically just trying to work on establishing consistency with fastball and slider and changeup.
Now, you've been with your manager, Mickey Morandini, at two levels, obviously last year with Williamsport, now here with Lakewood. Just some thoughts on Mickey as a manager?
Mickey's a great guy. I mean, no complaints about him. He's always got a positive attitude. He's fun to hang out with, joke around. Just a good guy overall. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's been in the sport for a very long time. So, I mean, I don't question him at all when it comes to anything.
Great. I want to ask you, clearly, we mentioned you've established yourself as a really consistent guy in this rotation, and you've got some recognition here as an all-star for the Sally League. What are your goals really going forward for the rest of the year?
Basically just keep going after it, just continue to be consistent, getting ahead of hitters. Staying healthy is a huge thing because my first couple of years, I had some back problems, but I mean that's healed up. So basically just staying healthy, staying in shape, and then just keep working hard and consistency, just staying ahead of the game.
Great, and thanks so much for the time. One last thing before I let you go, I really appreciate it. Now you've garnered some attention here this year. People are starting to recognize your name, on this team, on this staff. Do you feel like there's anybody else on the team that's a little bit under-recognized?
I mean, I've always felt that Duffy's a little under-recognized. I mean, I think he's a great hitter, great first baseman. I think he's a phenomenal player. I mean, I think we have a very, very, very good team. Just some things aren't clicking for some guys right now, which is unfortunate. But the talent on this team is definitely there. We have the talent for sure, but it's just at times having everyone kind of click together as a team and having it go forward.